Hello, my name is Liberty Model W4IT.
Okay. This is wait for it. So, do zones or levels work? We're going to go through a walkthrough of a process on how to check, get everything right, and then be ready to trade. And then I'm kind of late in the day coming in on a Friday, but um, this will be a good exercise to share. And if you like, if you learned something, please like, follow, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I got a lot of projects going, so I know I'm all over the place on my different projects, but that's just who I am. And so if this doesn't pertain to you, then don't watch it. But if you do like it, then watch it. So, anyways, I did a measured move. I figured out what the volatility was for the day. Basically, what you do is you go to the beginning of your day and you start measuring from your high to your lows. And I usually try to get at least four. I don't try to get like super small ones. I try to go for a bigger move, you know, and see how like that ends and it goes really small there. I think I'm better off going there and then coming down and hitting that there. And that's going to be pre-market, all that. And that'll give you this move that I have here. And get rid of all this. Now, I'm going to adjust these boxes so they're not overlapping and they're not spaced out from each other. They should be touching each other. See, this one's supposed to be here. Let me get this. That's probably why I don't touch up here. There. And you don't have to do this, but this helps me on the fly. Like I don't think it's going to go this far in one day, but I wanted to cover the gap all the way up to the high there because I'll be able to use it next week as well. And so I'll just leave this here. And then let me make sure these down here are the right size. I know I'm super blind. I'm sorry. And I'll be done here in a set. I was hoping to have this done before I got on live, but I need to go back and check to make sure this is the right size. It is. Make sure this is the right size. It is. So all the ones on the bottom are the right size. So lock that, lock that. And then I made these down here green because these are going to be my load zones. That should be good. All right, so now we have this push down. You see it went right into the load zone right there and came out of it. It's a 15-minute. So you're might going to get another push here to retest this low. So I'm going to get rid of these. I don't need those. All right, and so the other thing I like to do is I like to go to once I have this set, is to go to a 5-minute. I've already checked the daily to see that there's, the high was up there. And then I drew a trend line on the daily to see where it should come down to. If it does come down, let me make sure that's shared. Hold on. Oh, okay, I didn't lock it down. So from, no, that's a little bit too far over. There. I think at minimum this comes down to this area right here. I think it tried plenty of times to go up here and I think it failed. So maybe this is why it's pushing right here to grab some liquidity. It's going to crack it right there. It's already tapped it equal, but it hasn't cracked underneath there. So there's a big pool of liquidity right there, and that might catapult it down to down here. And then this will be where everything would be fulfilled as far as grabbing liquidity goes, and then it should have enough to go and break this high pair. And then if you measure, your flat area here, or up from the last high to your zone there that you're going to crack the high at. This is where the body stops. The actual like breaking the wicks is up here at the top of this. So I might want to do that. So if I go all the way to the top there, this is my measurement here. And then if I go from the base of this consolidation to the left here, which is why this is pushing down now, it would saying that it would go to 44,349. And that would be reaching underneath this bigger candle here, your last big candle, which would be par for the course there. I think that's a really strong candle there. So I mean, grabbing liquidity underneath this would be nice as well. And all right, so got that. Now we'll go back to the 5. Let me make sure it's on global. Yeah, it is. Let me lock it. All right, so the next thing I like to do, and I know I'm dragging my ass here, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get set up here. I think I was going to have to do this today. And if you jump in chat, please say hi. All right, so I might even look at some option plays for you or something like that if you're looking at stocks. I like this trend line right here. You see how it taps, bounces here, manipulates it here, but then respects it here and here, and then here, here, and here. And then it does try to respect it here, but it fails to launch it. So they grab the liquidity here. Well, it's kind of like this. Market always likes to manipulate the low that it finds, right? So it finds the low here, big candle, small candle, so disinterest, slows down here, then forces it to grab the liquidity, boom, taps the liquidity, pulls back into this area, rejects off the trend line there, pushes back down, right? It did make it past the high of the candle. So double inside turn, possible move to the upside right here. And so what we'll do is I'm going to finish drawing my trend lines now that I've got this angle here, which I think is perfect. And your channel should be built off of something that has really good touches, right? Because then you'll be able to see where the manipulation is, like where it's failing and when it dumps out of it. And I think this. And so since we have that deeper push there, we got to do something like that. And then I got to bring one up to the high here, there. And then you're kind of set there. And I'm just going to leave that double one in the middle there because it shows that this is the focal point, the center, right? It differentiates it from the other ones. And we do have like another layer right here. So there's like another one of these like right here. So so expect it to manipulate this if it comes down to it. And my target is further down. We are in the green, deep green here. The lighter green is just right here. I mean, it's not that far. So probably a really good short if it's not going to do a double inside turn right here. All right, so I've got my channels drawn. I'm actually going to do a separate channel for the meat of this move. think this right here. There you go. And that's just for visualization, because once you get to the tick chart, everything's going to look so like blown out, you're not even going to recognize any of it, right? So you got to give yourself some things to kind of, understand what you're seeing. The whole thing is setting yourself up for success, right? And being able to see and gather the information without having to analyze it, right? Because you already analyzed it, right? And so now I've got my range chart up here. It's tapping off this, this trend line. I've got the 15 down here. I don't even know if you can see it with it's so scrunched up. There. So we'll just bring this into focus. And I've got lines all across it, so not the easiest thing to see there. All right, so target is down here. Looking for this to manipulate this low right there. I'm expecting this thing to drop right there.
Order filled.
And I actually want to get into an account.
Wait for
Order filled.
Oh, I have none. Okay, well that's great. Let me do YMLTC 3 targets here. And then I'll buy.
wait for it.
If this doesn't continue to push down right here, then it's going to get me out and I'll just close out of it.
Order filled.
All right. That was kind of a rush trade too. I should have waited because I don't see my zones. It's kind of throwing me off. So let me finish setting up here, I guess. Would have been smart. It says I have them, but I don't see them. Okay. They're all up there. All right. Well, then, when you don't have zones, what you do is you grab them like this. And so this will help show you why it's important to have them. I didn't have them, and like I just took a trade and it didn't work out for me. So copy, paste, unlock, drag down, copy, paste. All right, last one. And no, typically we have better zones laid out, but for some reason we don't have them down here. So this is what you do when you don't have them. Okay. So hit the bottom of the zone, perfect bounce right there. I don't know if it continues to go here. Kind of looking for a rejection. Got a lot of noise up here. Kind of want to get rid of all that. There. And then I'm going to draw another channel right here. So manipulation, grabbing liquidity here, going back into the zone there, soaking back up to the high here. If it does close up like that, it would be a good launch right there, but looks like it's pushing down. Just grab liquidity again right here at the bottom. It's going to dump right out of this zone right here. I'm going to see if it pulls back any. This should drop down to the next zone. This should be the move to get us down there. Stochastics is turning down at the 20 down there. It's a good long setup right here. That's why if it fails here, it should be a good short. Rejecting out the high of that zone right there. Push it back under.
Order filled.
This is going to go. And this should come down here. This should go up here. This should push through. Pushed it under here. Should be rejecting off and dumping. There it goes. It cracks this right here. Should get a little pop. All right, there goes all my contracts. They're down +1. Just got to hold this though. Come on. There it goes. There it goes. See? Is there any question? I'll probably get out with my 2 there, if anything. I put it right behind that wick right there when it showed it to me. I'm going to see if this comes down any further. What does that say? Up 424 if we cash out right here, all in all. I was down 225 because I got in wrong right at the beginning. Should push down to get this last bit right here. There it goes. All right, so grab my 2 target right there. I'm going to leave this here and see if it'll hold. It's going to get me. I'm surprised it hadn't got me. Okay, there it goes. And boom, there you go. $670. 1 trade. 2 trades. I messed up on one and got the other. So, do zones work? Absolutely. I even targeted a zone and got it to the zone before it even pulled back and broke the high of the last candle, right? This one still didn't break the high the last time. It did with a wick, but it didn't actually close above it, so it pushed back down. So I could have stayed in it if I was a little bit more lax on my ticks there, but I wanted to make up for my loss, 1, and guarantee my profits. 2, I already hit my target there, so I wanted to get a little bit more aggressive on it. And so then when it came back and got me, it got me basically right at the high of this last candle's wick right there. It's going to probably bounce, go a little bit higher than I want right here, maybe. I don't know, but I do think that it's going to come down and hit this bottom one. And then once it's done there, I think that it ends up going back the other way. And so you might see like some manipulation here to the bottom side. And that's going to be gauged based off of how much wick we have up here at the top, which is not a lot, but pretty much a zone's worth, right? So this guy here, if it manipulates this, it's going to do it like that. And this could be setting up to go back up to the high here. And I think what I'll do from here is I'm just going to go 1 contract. Oof. I think it's going to come back and retest this. And if you look at your stochastics, it was good. And so where I got in was up here when it broke this. It literally got in exactly right there. And then, so from here, what is that? Get out of the way. And so look at how much movement you got off of that 20 from the stochastics at the 20 down to 0. That's crazy. But what a move. Like typically I'd want a cleaner stochastics move or whatever, but I mean like this is a measured move. Like I'm anticipating it. I got my zones right. I know it's going to fall out of this one. It's going to go to the next one. And so, I mean, it just, just lined up right. Plus I'd already looked at my longer terms and saw that it was going to come down and it was going to manipulate this area down here in order to gather liquidity before you even thought about coming back up. There's a 75 tick move, just using levels. And I didn't even use anything else other than just a volatility move for measurements. And I used my, I looked at my daily to see where the range was on high and low. I looked at my 15 to kind of gauge where my channel was. And then I looked at my 5 to draw my channel in and get my idea of, where it was going to go. And I ended up deleting all those lines by accident. And then I got my zones right lined up so I can see where it was going to head to. And boom, like that. I mean, like literally like a straight shot down. Boom. Target hit, 75 ticks, easy. 3 contracts for almost all of it, really. Because I mean, I got 2 targets here and I got 1 target here slightly higher. So I might have gotten one at 65, 50. And this is starting to build to come up here. Like I feel like they're carrying it up here to drop it. So I still think it's coming down to retest this and then it's going to go back up. So I'm not going to be in a super big hurry to jump in this, especially with it coming back and forth like this. I don't like being in trades that are choppy like that. I want it to look more like this drop right here. And so that's why I was kind of antsy to get into it. But I'm glad I messed up on the first one so I can show you the right way to do it. Like FOMOing into it, taking an L, waiting for it to set up right, looking at all your stuff, and then once it does, jump into it and watch it dump. And those are, I mean, that's a momentum move, and that's what zones are. Zones are momentum trades, and so if it's not reacting the way that you want it to when you jump into it, then you absolutely should just jump out. Like get out of it because it's not. It should feel like that. It should explode. I moved my down to 1 contract here. If I take 1 little loss, I'm out and I'm done for the day. And that's how I got to do it. Like, you gotta fiend off your greed monster, right? And I've been doing this long enough now that I should be profitable and I should be making money off of this. And so I'm going to start showing you that you can make money in the market, that you can go from having a monstrous, like a greed monster, to controlling it. And if you haven't been profitable, you don't know what I'm talking about. You don't know that side of you yet. And I'm going to tell you right now that you would be surprised how ugly that side of you is. And society it's you're raised from birth, commercialism. It's in TV, it's everywhere. It's in the way that people talk. You see it in your family, you see it in your parents. And not that they're bad or anything like that, but they're getting it from work, right? And the greed in the work and the corporate, entities are corrupting, and it's eat or get eaten, right? And everyone's trying to feed their families. No one believes in just making sure everyone's families are fed, right? So, anyways, I'm ranting, but really freaking good trade right there. I'm super excited about that trade. It was exactly the way I wanted it to be. Quick, good money. I mean, if I didn't take the $220 loss, in the beginning, this would have been a $900 trade in less than 30 seconds. So, you know, can't be upset about that. Okay, it doesn't look like this is, it should see some resistance here, actually. This is where we dumped out of last time. So I'm going to pay close attention to this right here. I'm kind of surprised that it broke out here and went up like here, because I figured it was going to fail right here and dump down. Trying to see where this line comes from. I don't remember drawing that. It's probably the main one, the first one that I drew. So hit the 89, big red candle coming down, pushed under it, failing to get back to the high here. I don't know how much that's going to play into this. On a liquidity grab here underneath this candle. Could be grabbing liquidity here, but if it's got some umph right here when it cracks this, it can keep going, right? Devil's horns here if it doesn't. Look at your stochastics. So one of the things I've noticed about stochastics that I like is that when you got the green on top and it crosses a, and it's getting ready to dump, but you see that it doesn't dump, and then you get the green that goes back across, right? And then comes back under it one more time, then it really dumps, right? So that's kind of what it's doing right here. Now, whether or not it does, you got the zone here, you're inside, right? You just cracked the high of the zone, you hung out the bottom of the zone. Now you're grabbing liquidity underneath here. Technically, it failed to go up here, and this was supposed to be a liquidity grab. So this would be a permission to run to go south here, but you see it soaking back up here. It's possible this thing runs right here. But typically when you fall under, no, this is not the first time over here. So yeah, this would be prime time for this to take off and run right here. I want to see this close positive right here, and I'm jumping in. Targeting the next zone above it. Seven left on it. Look at your wicks going into a pennant here. Look at your zone. You're stuck in the middle of it. So you came in from the bottom. You didn't hit the high. You came to the bottom, underneath the zone, grabbed liquidity, ran up, hit above the zone, right? You extended past the bottom of the zone more than you did the top. You came back down, checked the bottom, soaked back up inside the green candle. And then the next candle also went down, checked the bottom, soaked back up inside the green candle. And now you have this green candle here, which is testing the high of that last candle. If it cracks that, it can totally pop. All right, just shoved underneath it, still inside the green candle. This one gapped underneath the candle here, so could free fall here. Totally gapped underneath that green candle that was stuck in on the last three candles, which to me is a kind of a bullish thing. So this would be like a last liquidity grab right here, and it should pop the high of it, and then that should carry it above. This is again hanging out the bottom of this zone for the second time. We are under the 89 right here. It is kind of a bearish thing. 29 left in it though. Still didn't, okay, there it goes. It went underneath the other candle. Not on this one though. It jumped on the next one. So technically still a liquidity grab then, because this was a fail to dump right here. And so this would be a liquidity grab. Here should turn around and go right back to the high as it free falls here, you know. Technically it would have been a good short. I wanted to short it from up here, but I got rope-a-doped into believing that it was trying to be bullish, and then it gapped down on the next candle and dumped under. And then that, you know, now you see the results of that, which I still kind of feel like this is a liquidity grab, and it's just coming down to like the last place where it exploded out, which was right here. So 44,736. looking for a green candle here. It gapped into the middle here. This is a bullish move right here. Whenever you have like a leg coming down and then you gap up, put the green candle in the middle here, that tends to be a bullish move. And so then the next candle will try to grab liquidity here underneath this green candle and then go back up and crack it to the high. Should. So we'll see. Unless it just takes off right here and runs, then, just forget everything I said. All right, well, now I closed red there, but still a small green or red candle here. It should try to grab liquidity. Maybe not. 117. Let's see if it does it. I always like to look at the ticks and see how much time you've got, right? Because, I mean, if it starts to look bullish and you've got like more than half the candle left, it doesn't really mean anything because it can come all the way down. See what I'm saying? Now it's grabbed liquidity here. Now I think it turns inside out and goes the other way. We'll see. They're trying to force it down right there. Didn't go past the low of that wick. I think this goes.
Order filled.
I'm going right here because it passed the high, that high of the candle right there. I'm going to go ahead and grab my stop and put it right below this. All right. Now it just hit the high of this candle here. So it is bullish right here. If they just let it go past it, they're going to try to shove it down. I'm really reluctant to kind of put my stop here yet. So I'm just waiting to see if it'll hold this, if it actually does have it, if it's bullish, really bullish, or if not, then they'll keep shoving it down. So I might take a short position out to get out of this. I might go like right here. Kind of want to give it space. I feel like if they shove it down, though, it's just going to manipulate this low. It's going to get me either way. So I probably should have taken the short position, let it come down, and then get in. See, look. So now I'll just wait. And so here's another reason. And I said I was done. What I got? 575 here. The best time to take a trade is right after you've made a mistake because you probably weren't wrong. You just probably were early. And so I don't want to go against what I was saying I was going to do. I just want to double check that I'm not missing something here. Right? So grab liquidity here, and this should take it back to the high there.
Order filled.
This should have been my trade. And maybe I should have waited for this to grab liquidity on this candle. It probably has more oomph to the downside than I'm imagining it does. And so it's just going to come down and teach me a lesson over and over again, I'm sure. But I think there's a rhyme and reason why it's doing what it's doing. So I feel like it's grabbing liquidity here and it's going to use this to launch right here. And they turn this candle inside out. That verifies what I'm saying because it should explode upwards. Like how they take it right to the high, just shorted it. Just barely shorted it. It's not like they gave it a lot of time though. It literally did it the last second. So this just retraced that candle and now it should pop right here. We should get at least back to the zone. Right there. I'm going to grab my flag. There you go. Right back to indecision here. Should take off and run here. That shouldn't be a reason why they reject it from here. That should be like it grabbed liquidity and it stopped even, which means it's ready. So this should just pop right here. If it doesn't pop, then you're kind of in trouble. Let's see. Come on. Come on. Take it right past the yeah. Let's see if it pops. I'm going to go ahead and go +1. It's struggling. Come on. Pop this thing. I don't think I'm wrong. I think that I'm just early. Look at the flat line they're creating right here. Totally popping this thing, I'm telling you. Let it grab liquidity one more time right here.
Order filled.
God, I'm late, but it should take it all the way up. Come on now. Get past that. There you go. Keep going. Keep going. I know this thing's strong. I know it is. Keep going. I ain't messing with you. Keep going. That's 666 right here. Come on. You can't stop us doing all that. You might as well keep going. Dude, that's a crazy candle right here. You should be taking that you should be taking that all the way up. It's going to come back and check the 89 right here. I'm going to grab what I can, because if it comes back, it's going to be nasty. All right, so I'm out on that, and I'm at 638. Making back what I lost there, I guess. I should have got in right here, but I wasn't sure if it was going to pop, but then it really did pop. So you're in the zone right here, right? Trying to find support on top of this. You just check the bottom of the zone. Just check the 89. Let's go to the high here. So missed the high, hit the low, found support on the 89. Manipulation of the low, which is what this is here. There it goes. Soak back up, retake the high. Could dump out, could fail to get back to the high here. Or is it reaccumulating and it's going to come back around? See if it goes sideways right here. I like to think that there's a reason why they did this, right? So if it was able to do this, then they're expecting it to do this. $44,857. Already broke the high over here, so it's saying that it can go, right? So it's grabbing liquidity here, and this should be a breakout right here.
Order filled.
And this should take us gets above this right here, give it 10 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Is it making progress? Yes. That means it's the lag, how long it takes retail to FOMO in on something when they see it pass a high, right? And for it to affect the market here. So another little tip there. Let's see if it'll carry. Should be able to find support since it did break the high and close up here. Let's see if it can keep it from dumping down. Come on, hold this. I mean, there's a reason we spent all this time doing this move right here. So keep that in mind. There's a reason, right? They didn't do it just come up here and poke a hole up here to break that high and be like, yeah, okay, we're done. Like there's no way they offloaded all their shares right here on this one contract, like this one, candle. It's 133 ticks. There's no way, right? So obviously they're going to be running this up and taking profits as it goes, right? Profits here, boom, taking off. I'm going to go ahead and put this right underneath the low of this candle. Taking profits here. I'm going to back this up actually a little bit, give it room. Probably going to take profits in this area, like this whole area right here. And it's possible that they drag this thing down and take profits all the way down right here. So don't let it get too far down, right? See if it has enough to get back up to the high here. If it doesn't, then we're going to imagine that it's going to start to stair step downwards, right? And so we're going to get right underneath this candle. I'm actually probably going to get there right now just because I don't want to lose anything that I've got right here. Boom. So I made it to the high there. That should be good there. It might come down and grab liquidity now from here, right? It's very doable, but again, I wouldn't want to lose anything right here. So if it does come all the way down, then I'll just get out. I'd rather take whatever I can get out of it. But I'd like to see it rocket launch right here. I think I'm right here. So I think right there, look at it. Look. 44,857. All right, so what we do, we hit the top of the zone, hit the bottom of the zone, we manipulated the low of the zone right here, pulled back to the high, inched its way up to the high of the zone, pulled back one more time, grabbed liquidity, and then got back to the high of the zone, and then we got in, and it popped, right? Now we're above the 200, which is where it usually likes to find support, right? And it can come back pretty crazy right here, but hopefully it'll hold it. And then if this holds right here, it should try to go up and hit this next target and the next zone. I only got one contract, so I got to play it kind of loose if I want to stay in it. This does look like it's coming down. I kind of want to get out right here. But we'll see if it can hold this. Look at it. Keep coming down. Like I said, 100% this whole area right here, I bet. Yeah, look at it. All the way down to 803 probably, or even 800. All right, back to the high here. I like that. It shows that it has the potential to break this and go up. So I'm probably going to put this. Yeah, I'm probably going to inch it up a little bit more. I mean, if it's gonna break this low, it's gonna get me either way. So I might as well get what I can. I mean, it was a good response out of this area right here. I bet that if they had time, it would and let it go. It probably would have gone to the high there. So let's see if when it cracks this high, if it will do it again. Come on. There it goes. It cracked it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Is it making progress? Yeah. Kinda. Yeah, it's at the high. Buys us another candle. It should go. I'm going to go ahead and inch this up some more. Where do I want to get this at? I kind of don't want to give up the 200, and I feel like if it's not able to launch right here, it's going to totally manipulate it more. So I'm going to get pretty aggressive right there. 44,825. Come on, hold it. Go up and unwind that and turn it inside out and go green. Okay, or not. See? And I probably could have stayed in it longer to get the rest of it, but you know what? I'll take my 730 or 53. So blind. I'll take my 753 and I'm done for the day. Hopefully, you got some good trades. You learned something, and you realize that zones are important. Zones are good, right? Have a good one. This is Wait for It. Happy trading. I'll see you on the next one.
Hello, my name is Liberty Model number W84IT.